What's the craziest babysitter your parents have given you? I was 8 years old when my parents sat me down and told me they were going on vacation. I got so excited I literally started packing my suitcase. Then they hit me with the news. You're staying home. I looked at them like they just told me Santa quit. They said they'd get a babysitter, and I was thinking maybe someone cool, like a teenager who'd let me stay up late and eat cereal for dinner. Instead, the woman who showed up looked like she'd been personally hired to ruin my childhood. She walked in with this giant fake smile, shaking my parents' hands like she was interviewing for a position at a bank. My mom kept saying things like, she comes highly recommended, and she's very responsible. I'm standing there like, Mom, she's giving villain energy, but my parents didn't care. The babysitter kept rushing them out, saying things like, don't worry, we'll be just fine, in this creepy sing-song voice. The second the door shut, her smile dropped, like someone flipped a switch. She turned to me, crossed her arms, and said, okay, here are the rules. No talking unless spoken to. No music, no TV, no snacks unless she approved them. No leaving my room without permission. I blinked at her and said, who do you think you are? The warden. She didn't laugh. She just stared at me like I'd committed a felony. I said, yeah, I'm not following any of that, and walked upstairs to my room. Big mistake. She followed me. She grabbed my arm, dragged me back downstairs, opened the basement door, shoved me inside, and locked it. I'm standing there in the dark like, did this woman just kidnap me in my own house? I started banging on the door yelling, let me out. She yelled back, you'll stay down there until you learn to behave. Behave, lady. I'm 8. My biggest crime this week was eating cereal without a bowl. But here's the thing. She messed up. She didn't take my phone. I pulled it out, called my parents, and the second my mom picked up I said, she locked me in the basement. My mom sighed like I just told her I lost a sock. Sweetie, stop exaggerating. We're trying to relax. I'm not exaggerating. I'm literally in the basement. My dad got on the phone and said, buddy, we paid her good money. Just listen to her, okay? We'll be back in hours. A few hours? They hung up. I sat there in the dark, furious, plotting my revenge like a tiny mob boss. Then I heard voices upstairs. Lots of voices. I cracked the basement door open as quietly as possible and peeked out. There were 6 people in my living room. The babysitter had invited her entire friend group over like my house was a free Airbnb. They were watching a movie on our TV, eating our food, throwing wrappers on the floor like they were auditioning for a reality show about terrible house guests. One guy had his feet on the coffee table. Another girl was going through our pantry like she was shopping. I pulled out my phone, hit record, and filmed the whole thing. The babysitter laughing, her friends making a mess, all of them acting like they owned the place. I got so mad I stopped recording, ran out there, and yelled, get out of my house. They all froze. The babysitter looked at me like I just ruined her life. Then she smiled. Not a nice smile. You're about to regret that smile. She stood up, and so did all her friends. And then they started chasing me. I'm talking full sprint, like I was being hunted. I ran through the kitchen, knocked over a chair, slid across the hallway like I was in an action movie, and locked myself in the bathroom. They were banging on the door yelling, come out. I'm in there thinking, this is how I die. Murdered by a babysitter and her sketchy friends. Then I heard the front door open. My parents walked in. I unlocked the bathroom, ran out, and sprinted straight to them. The babysitter and her friends froze like they'd just been caught robbing a bank. My mom looked around at the disaster, the random people, the food everywhere, and said, what is going on? I held up my phone and said, I have evidence. I played the video. My parents watched the whole thing in silence. Then my dad looked at the babysitter and said, get out. She tried to explain, saying I was being difficult and she needed help managing me. My mom cut her off and said, you locked him in the basement. The babysitter and all her friends scrambled out the door like their lives depended on it. My dad didn't even pay her. My parents apologized.